But anyway, so speaking of movies, let's talk about one that dropped last week because we're kind of pre-gaming for the Cult Classic Convention. Go check them out, cultclassicconvention.com. It's going to be February 25th through 27th here in Bastrop, Texas, by the same folks that put on the gas station where they shot the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're going to have, the big one for us, obviously, is Joe Bob and Darcy the Mail Girl are going to be there for some Q&A and some photo ops. But it just really got us thinking because they're also doing somewhat a Weird Science reunion, but they're also doing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is kind of in the zeitgeist right now because our friend David Blue Garcia got the call after somebody dropped the ball. He got the call, come fix Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Cool, I live in Texas. Yeah, but dog, we got to fly you to Bulgaria to fix this. Okay. And that dropped on Netflix this week, so you want to do a quick review of that?
That's why you always have your gear ready.
Yeah, he literally had his gear in his bag. But what were your first thoughts on that?
First thoughts of this movie, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. Cinematography is great, and you've worked with the dude. You always knew. He just has a great eye, just a spectacular eye. I think where this movie fell short for me was in the script area.
Yeah.
I felt the entire premise felt off to me. I don't know. From the beginning, it felt these kids were too heelish,
Yeah, I think you're right because a lot for at least 50% of the population, the woke crowd are the heels, right?
Absolutely. And I think if in like a Freddy movie, you can have sort of a babyface killer, but I don't think Leatherface is a babyface killer,
no.
Right? And I think they leaned a little into that. I don't think that necessarily worked, but I think this is probably one of the better adaptations, or I guess sequels, whatever. I guess this is a direct sequel.
Sequel boots? Is that what they were called? Is this would this
well,
fall under sequel boots?
As far as of this franchise, it's one of the better ones, I think.
Yeah. So this was the. Oh yeah, we might need a spoiler warning on this. So throw a spoiler warning on this.
Man, I need to put the button somewhere I can find it real quick. Sorry. Spoiler warning.
All right, yeah, there is our spoiler warning. But yeah, he was he was the mama face, as Mike put it. He was I'm with you that it's visually stunning. I mean, just even the picture that we threw up there, his face popping up in the sunflower fields, the bus massacre scene with the blood smearing against window, like DBG really let his DP flag fly. I mean, it was visually looked really good, but there was nothing he can do about the script. And the script was already going to be in tough because they're like, oh, it worked for Halloween, so let's forget every other sequel. This takes place 50 years after the original one. But they didn't really dig too deep into that, and I don't know if that's something that was already too far gone by the time he got there. And it was alluded to, right? He was in it was an orphanage, and you saw the picture of him, and his face was scratched out. And I guess it was alluded to that the head orphanage of his mom, or his mom, surrogate mom, is what kept him from killing those people. But that didn't really... She wasn't in the original, so that I had to do a little bit more mental gymnastics than I would have preferred.
It was weird booking. I mean, I think that it felt like it was trying to be sort of like a modernized woke version of real life events. They had the school shooting survivor, which I think is an interesting angle, but you can't do that and revenge of the original, final girl kind of thing.
Yeah.
You got to kind of lean into that, because if you're doing a school shooting angle, that's big.
Yeah.
So you've got to give it its proper time and develop it out or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yep.
So, yeah, I just think I don't know what was going on. Here's what I think is awesome, is an awesome success, is that this movie obviously was probably, I don't know, it was having some issues. They fire the directors. There's some issues going on, right?
Right, exactly.
And so, they brought in DBG, and it's funny because you've worked with him and he's genius.
Yeah.
It's just like they brought him in because he's a hitter,
Yeah.
and they brought him in to say, hey, this has gone off the rails. Can you get it back on the rails and make it look awesome? I wonder what the issue was with the original directors. I wonder if maybe they didn't like the footage they were getting back, or what was going on. Because that makes sense to me. Because if you're bringing somebody that's very visually gifted, to sort of take it off,
And he's getting great buzz, and they're already a lot of the articles that you're seeing, they're already trying to attach him to the sequel, and he's already making, he's already making gestures like he would be down for a sequel. And I'd like to see him from a sequel from the beginning, from the script inception stage, and let him and book him to his strength, because he, if he can make something that's not his look this beautiful, what can he make that is his? How beautiful is it going to look?
Here's what I would just think that I feel like you could go that way. Or you could do something with Chainsaw Massacre and make it more in the vein of the original and try to do it documentary style and make it look kind of more gritty.
Yeah.
Than this direction. But I think if he were to attach it to any other horror franchise, I think he's got like an open ticket here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like he made Chainsaw Massacre. It's never been this visually appealing.
No, not at all.
You never saw a chainsaw go through somebody so beautifully.
It's weird to call it, and Mike said it, you said, we all said it. It's just like, it's weird to call it beautiful, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but that's really what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Purge, give him the Purge. That would be dope.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, that would be fun. But yeah, I really do. It was very gory. And I wonder if there was two things that I wasn't sure about, was the script and the gore. But if you were there for the gore, you got plenty of gore. Dude, it's just like you had the Darth Vader hallway scene in Rogue One. You had the Darth Maul hallway scene in Rebels. You had Luke Skywalker hallway scene in The Mandalorian. And now you have the Leatherface bus hallway scene, where I didn't know that they were going to go that far with it. Did you?
Yeah, I thought so.
They did. I don't think they really pulled any punches. And
it's Netflix. You can go as far as you want.
Yeah, and they did. And there was two things that made me wince, was that, and that, there was 15-second skips. Yeah, it was gore. And that, the ending jump scare, which was basically the Friday the 13th jump scare, that one was unsettling for me. And I don't know if it was just because I was kind of cheering for, and I guess it worked, the sisters. They became the final girls, plural. And I really didn't see that coming, even though I clearly should have, because his body sunk and you knew he was coming back. So you shouldn't, but I didn't expect it to be that gory. Did you?
I figured they'd go hard on the gore. It's a Chainsaw Massacre movie. Even though the first one didn't have a lot of gore,
yeah,
you need it now. The kids love it. The kids like the blood.
Yeah,
and guts.
They were about the blood and guts, and they got it. But I liked that character, and it was just like a clean, like butter by head, and you're like, whoa. And the other thing that bothered me, and this is nothing of David. Like you said, David's got an open ticket. Give him, now that the Friday the 13th rights are freed up, give him those rights. Have him fix Friday the 13th series. Have him fix Nightmare on Elm Street. There's if you want to go back to IPs, this is your guy to fix it. So anything that I had problems with in this film, I don't think had anything to do with him. But they kind of leaned into, oh, cool, let's do the Laurie Strode angle, where she's basically became a Texas Ranger. The Sally character, Hardesty. She became a Texas Ranger, and she was going to hunt him down. And then she never found him. And then when she did find him, she just got her ass kicked.
Yeah, it was kind of a waste. To me, that was just, there was too much going on. There was too many threads, and you couldn't really settle on one.
The woke kids stood no chance. The woke kids bus were all goners. There was nobody there that was going to do it. The only one that could have done anything was the guy that they originally looked like they were going to book him as the heel, right? The redneck in that town. And then he turned into like, well, okay, now you're going to be happy somebody's there with a gun and maybe he's going to be the hero. But then once they took him out, There was no one there that can really. The woke bus weren't going to do anything. So you were waiting for that run-in from Sally, who's been waiting for this moment for 50 years. And I don't know. It wasn't a big payoff.
I like what Mike says. He would start it with the massacre on the bus. That would have been a great kickoff point.
Yeah.
You know, very unsettling. Get rid of everybody early and then just have some survivors. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little strange because there was already people that were getting whacked, and then they went to the bus. So I guess starting with the bus would have been the way to go. But once they took that guy out, there was just like you were waiting for that Sally run-in, and it really, at least like Lori took the time to booby trap that house and still go after him, and instead of fighting Chance. But this Sally didn't really stand that much of a chance.
Yeah.
And her kill was pretty gory too.
Yeah, it kind of felt like an afterthought. Like, it worked in Halloween, so let's do it here. I might have booked it like this. Like, if they were going for the gentrifuckers angle, I might have booked it like this. Because they started with that documentary on the TV, and got John LaRoquette.
Oh, yeah, they got John LaRoquette for
the original
that. Props
Texas
to
Chainsaw
that.
Massacre documentary. Maybe if they're gentrifying, how about they bought the Chainsaw Massacre house? They're turning it into an attraction. They're turning it into a tourist trap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like that.
And then Leatherface sees that shit on TV and he's like, "That's my house. I need to go get my house. Do something
That's
like
my house.
you know what I'm saying?"
I like that a
And
lot.
then he comes slaughters the looky-loos at the Chainsaw Massacre house. He gets his house back.
Yeah.
And go from there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they could have done that. Yeah, but again, and this was all after the fact, after he got called in to fix this. But it was mission accomplished. He fixed it. I mean, he gave them the movie. It's been #1 for a while on Netflix. So
I told you I really like the title font.
Yeah, they went with the blue, right?
David Blue. That's awesome.
That was good, man. I was just like, I feel like working with him, it was just like, wow, okay, that's I feel like now we can kind of fly that flag, just like because he's a humble guy, he really is, but you can tell he has that arts feel where he's just like he asks for feedback, like, what are you thinking? But then he's also like, this is what I'm thinking, and he's just like, and then he found a way to make you feel like you meet in the middle, but he was actually making. I should pull up some of the shots that he actually came up with. I think I threw it on IG on that Western that.
I was always trying to get ideas from him and be like, "How do you want to do it?" I say, "Well, what do you think? How should we do it?
Yeah, no,
how would it look? How do you think this would look? You think that's good?"
Oh yeah. Here, I don't know if we could. Let's go to the
close up.
Yeah, let's see if we can close up on this. So look at that.
God, don't get out of here.
But look at that shot he did, and this was like a silhouette shot in a ghost town here that we did. That looked cool. He got. There's Cola. Ignore. Wait, let me see if I can do another one. Here's another cool shot. I mean, he just got an eye, and then there was another one. He did this split thing, and I don't know. There was just something about like all his stuff that you realize that he's one of those gifted storytellers that he can tell a story with the pictures. And I think what you do. And that's motion pictures, right? That's what it's all about. And he just did a really good job. So I hope he gets his props. I want him. I would rather see him do. I think people are going to be there's going to be overtures for him now, and I'd like to see him get another franchise. If they want to revitalize him to do another franchise, I would go with something else over a Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel, unless they did it something like you did. It's like, okay, now we're going to do a prequel, because they really did leave a lot of threads hanging there, because she was in charge of the orphanage, but she was the mom, but they really didn't explain. I guess the brother got run over by the truck, so he was gone. But what about Grandpa? What about, the guy at the gas station? There was a lot of people. You don't know what happened. And at the end credits, you just saw Leatherface walking back to the house. Are they all still there? But I'm assuming they're all dead, right? Because it's
been a long time.
It's been a long time. So how young was Leatherface in those films? So they all have to be gone.
I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a tough IP.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like in the Museum of Modern Art or something. The film is actually in there. Back when it came out, you have to go watch it at the museum. That's one of the only places that would play it. To me, that movie is like a magic eye painting where if you're watching it with, kind of just like not really paying attention, it just looks like a bunch of mess. And it's annoying, and the kid in the wheelchair is annoying. You hate, like, everybody, it just seems so chaotic.
Yeah.
But then it's just sort of slowly transforms into something super shocking that looks beautiful. They've got these really beautiful shots in it. The way stuff is framed really economically. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, and I remember, I think it was in the podcast we dropped when we were visiting. We dropped it today as a flashback in honor of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Cult Classic. But I was like, well, this was like a student film, right? And you're like, no, this was like a... they had some budget for it, too.
Which one?
The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, yeah, like I said, it looks like that.
Oh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre needs to be sold to Blumhouse, done on the cheap, Toxic Avenger type IP. That's what Mike's thinking. Yeah?
Keep it cheap. That's where I think that movie needs to be gritty.
That's the charm of it, right? Because it really is. Because, I mean, for me, there's just something about 70s horror that it felt like all bets were off.
It was bleak.
Yeah, it was very, like, all bets were off. So they had that feel, right? Like, we see that in a lot of, like, we watched, like, Mother's Day on the last drive-in and Class of 84. It's very bleak because it's just, like, there's a lot of, like, straight up, like, people getting raped and the way they're murdered and, like, or even, like, The Hills Have Eyes, that kind of stuff. Like, everybody, there's just always that sense of danger, and it's gritty, and it had nothing to do with big budget. It was just really cutting edge stuff, and you can do that on the cheap. So I would be curious what the budget was on this.
I think it was like 10 million.
10 million. I mean, they did film a Texas ghost town in Bulgaria, right? So they must have got some big tax breaks. I thought.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm
Straw
sure
dogs.
it's a lot cheaper to get crew and sets and everything in space in Bulgaria.
Yeah. I don't know. And again, like you said, the whole ghost town made it feel like there was a lot of missed opportunities on there. It's just like you could have did it as like, okay, maybe they knocked down his original house, and that's what, like, no, dog, you're not going to take my house out. It's just like, you just moved the headstones. Why?
At the end of the movie, Leatherface brings his family and they take over the town.
Yeah, and that's how you anti-gentrify the town.
We're taking the town back.
We took the town back, so they were still. But again, it was. I don't know what emoji ratings that we would give this. We haven't given an emoji rating in a while. I got to give it a blood drop because there was a lot of gore.
Definitely a blood drop. A chainsaw emoji. Is there one?
Is there? Yeah, I don't know. There might be a chainsaw emoji. Intro town to interiors, but yeah, I would still, again, I would watch it just because, again, I'm really happy for DBG. He's getting the props of, like, everyone knew he was a talented guy, and I think now this is really going to elevate him to the next level. And I almost feel like, again, that's why I lean towards don't give him the sequel to this. Give him something else. Let's see what he can do here, because the Friday the 13th remake was actually shot here as well, and that didn't work, and that one had huge script problems, and I think it's almost freed from its development prison from all the courthouse stuff going on, right?
Yeah, I think Friday the 13th is also another tough IP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would have to do like you said and just like really revisit it on how you approach it.
Yeah, I say do it 80s like Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah. That could be a cool vibe.